Welcome back. Today, we are diving deep into a really powerful strategy for taking back control of your finances. It's called the Golden Path, and it's basically a roadmap, a clear step-by-step system designed to get you from where you are to where you want to be. And today, we're hitting what I think is maybe the most important step in the entire journey. Step 5, which has the very dramatic title, Stop the Financial Bleeding. And honestly, it's called that for a very good reason. This is the spot where so many good intentions just, well, they fall apart before they even really begin. Here's the truth that can be a little tough to swallow at first. Most people are convinced they have an income problem. But the reality? It's almost always a habit problem. Have you ever wondered how someone making a huge salary can still be totally broke while someone else on a much more modest income it seems to be thriving? Well, this is why. Money doesn't just vanish into thin air, it leaks. So the mind behind this whole 13-step strategy is Tamir Kaham. And his background is what makes this so unique. He's not just another finance guy. He blends the super logical problem-solving world of systems engineering with timeless financial wisdom. He even translated The Richest Man in Babylon. It's that mix of old and new that really gives this path its power. And today we are zeroing in on a key piece of it, Stage 2, Step 5. Okay, so who is this really for? Well, this path was built for professionals, for salaried people who are just ready for a change. It's for moving from that feeling of financial dependence, where it feels like money just happens to you, and shifting into a place of ownership, of freedom. If you are just plain tired of living paycheck to paycheck, constantly stressed, feeling like your money is the boss of you, then yeah, you're in the right place. Now let's talk about something that feels completely backwards when it comes to money. It's called the sinking boat paradox, and it perfectly explains why the obvious solution, just earn more, almost never works. Which brings us to this wild question. How is it possible that earning more money, getting that big promotion or starting a side hustle, could actually make a bad financial situation sink even faster? It doesn't seem to make any sense, right? But getting your head around this is absolutely key.
Think about it like this. You're in a boat and it's got a hole in it. What's your first instinct? Sail faster, right? Try to outrun the problem. But here's the paradox. If you just add more wind to a leaky boat, it actually sinks faster. Why? Because our spending, those are the leaks, almost always grows to match whatever income we have. A bigger paycheck doesn't fix the hole, it just lets you finance bigger leaks.
You see, the real enemy isn't some big one-time emergency expense. It's normalization. It's that moment when being an overdraft stops feeling like a 5-alarm fire and just becomes normal. It's just another Tuesday. For so many people, that state of constant financial crisis is no longer a crisis. It's just life. And that low-grade, constant stress, it takes a massive toll. So here's where things get really interesting. The solution isn't about budgeting harder. It's not really a financial fix at all. It's a psychological one. This is the moment where we completely reframe how we look at the problem. We stop seeing it as some kind of personal failure and start seeing it for what it is, a flawed system that can be fixed. We all know this story, right? It's that little voice in our heads that keeps us stuck. I'm just bad with money. It feels so true, but it's a total trap. It's a story about moral failure, and all it does is lead to shame and paralysis. And this slide just lays it out perfectly. On the one hand, you have the moral failure mindset. It says, I am the problem. And where does that get you? Shame, inaction. On the other hand, you have the engineer's mindset. It looks at the exact same situation and says, my system has a flaw. It's designed to create this result. See the difference? One is a judgment about you. The other is just data about a system. And that one little shift takes you from being the victim to being the person who can actually fix the machine. So let's put on our engineer hats for a second and look at the 4 biggest mental traps that keep this broken system running. First, the income fallacy. If I just made more money, everything would be fine. We already busted that one. Then there's the temporary illusion. Oh, next month will be different. Next, the necessity trap. That's when our wants slowly start to feel like absolute needs. And maybe the most dangerous one of all, the futility trap. That's the voice that whispers, what's the point? Saving $10 won't fix anything. Okay, so we've diagnosed the problem, we see the flawed system, now what? How do we actually fix it? Well, the game plan is so much simpler than you probably think. It's all about one small, tangible, totally doable action.
The method is called plug one leak. Your only job is to fix one thing. That's it. First, you're going to pull out that financial map you already built back in step 3. Second, you just find one leak. One, maybe it's a subscription you totally forgot about, or a daily coffee that you don't even enjoy that much. And third, and this is the most important part, you take structural action. This has nothing to do with willpower or trying harder. You change the system. You cancel the service. You delete your credit card from the app. You make it physically harder to spend that money.
Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. Okay, great, saving $15 a month isn't going to fix my $2,000 overdraft. And you know what? From a purely mathematical standpoint, you're not wrong in the short term. But for right now, this has nothing to do with the math. It's all about the psychology.
Psychologically, this one small action changes everything. The moment you plug that one tiny leak, you send a powerful signal to your brain. You prove that change is possible. You prove that you are in control of this system, not the other way around. That feeling, that sense of agency, that is the real win here. That's the momentum you'll build on for everything else that's coming.
So where does this one small win fit into the grand scheme of things? Well, its place in the 13-step path is no accident. It's literally the key that unlocks the door to all future progress.
If you look at the whole map of the golden path, you'll see that step 5 is the gatekeeper. It's non-negotiable. I mean, think about it. How can you possibly build a consistent saving habit, or an emergency fund, or start investing if your account is constantly leaking cash every month? You can't. It's impossible.
You have to stabilize the system first. It's a core principle in engineering, and it's a core principle in finance. Stability always comes before growth. You have to protect what you have before you can ever hope to expand it. You've got to patch the holes in the boat and make sure it floats before you can even think about catching more wind in your sails. All right, let's wrap this up. Let's talk about the absolute most important things to remember from this step and what you should be looking at next. So here are the big takeaways. Number 1, overdraft is a system failure, not a moral one. So please, let go of the shame. Number 2, earning more money will not fix a leaky boat. It will only make it sink faster. Number 3, your only mission right now is to plug one leak. Just one. Prove to yourself that you are in control. And finally, remember that this step is the gatekeeper. Once you achieve stability, you'll be ready for what's next, which is all about building a real, consistent saving habit. And of course, before we go, just a quick but important disclaimer. Please remember everything we talk about here is for educational purposes. It's not personalized financial advice. You should always talk to qualified professionals and make the decisions that are right for your own specific situation. Now, if you want to follow this entire 13-step journey, you can just search for Deep Dive Golden Path wherever you listen to podcasts. And for even more visuals and details, be sure to check out the official YouTube channel, which is called The Golden Path to Financial Independence. Thanks so much for being here for this explainer. Remember, your journey to taking back control starts with just one small, simple step. We'll see you next time to take the next one.